We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Imagine. Cash, cold, that's what I need.
Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Welcome everyone to LA Talk Live. Our show today, Money and Music with Reggie Calloway. I'm Reggie Calloway, and I want to say welcome to each and every one of you. This is show number 2, and man, we got a lineup for you that's gonna blow your mind. As we talk about money and music, we want to talk about the entertainment side of it as well as the financial and the business side of it. Today's show, like no other show, we have an incredible guest with us, Mr. Michael Gardner, that's going to talk about the management side, what goes on behind the scenes with the acts, the money, building the careers, putting it all together, holding it together. It's going to be a major good time. But first, as I get into a little bit of that, I want to just simply say that this show just means so very much to me, and I'm really blessed to be here because to share so many years of experience and all the things that we do is very important. To get back and share and educate is the top of the list. But some of you may know me, Reggie Calloway, once again, as a founder of Midnight Star, the Calloway Brothers, and a lot of the other production and songwriting opportunities that we've had to be a part of throughout the years. But most importantly now, I'm the founder, along with my partner Sean Peace, of a company called Royalty Exchange. And we're going to talk more about Royalty Exchange as we go on. And that's a very incredible, unique opportunity for people to raise funding through their royalty and asset streams. But in the show, we talk about the spiritual side of money. What that means is the psychology, why the rich get richer or why the poor get poor. We can't answer that question totally, but we want to delve into that. So it's not just the total facts, but it's also some very current news and current information of how this affects us today and what's going on today. And in fact, Tori, you got some news reports for us today that let's just see some of the headlines of what we're going to talk about today in the news.
So our headlines for today, Allen Iverson, from the big cheese to begging for cheese. The lowdown on the top new selling albums for the week, why those are at the top. Music and pay to play, the new tactic of the NFL. And finally, can Russia's new streaming service save the piracy issue?
Ooh, that's some hot stuff. I can't wait to hear the details on that.
And our guest, of course, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, our guest and I, we have a history that goes back quite a ways. And when we weren't together, we just ran into the same people and hung in with the same crowds. And so that's going to be an interesting story to be just like talking. So in order to bring us up to date on a lot of that, I promised that in the first 2 shows that I would really get into some of the story, what that helped to make me who I am. And last week's show, we got all the way through to the formation of Midnight Star. And we talked about James Brown and the incredible effect that James had on our lives, being in Cincinnati, Ohio, and what that meant to the music and to the funk scene coming out of there. So basically, after I had all this inspiration from James and playing all of his music and all my local bands, I mean, we do a show and we do all James songs, we do all Kool and the Gang songs. We didn't have any songs of our own. So, in fact, we did a show with Kool and the Gang, opening up for them, and I'm ashamed to say that we played about 3 of Kool and the Gang songs in our set before they came on. But Kool was cool with it because we were pretty good. So that launched us off to a standpoint of after touring all over the country with my group, the MD Fire Department with Randall Vandiver. I quickly decided that I needed to know more about music. I was not satisfied with playing everybody else's songs, and Sly Stone put out an album that changed my whole life. And at the end of that tour, I said, you know what? I need to go to college and learn about music, and was blessed to get a full scholarship from Kentucky State University, and that place really opened up a whole lot of doors. And in fact, for all you out there that are really striving for something, I just got my degree from Kentucky State University last May, so that would make that about a lot of years. But you guys know how old I am anyway because you've been following me for the whole career, so I can't hide it. I'm starting to say I'm sporting the grades and the shortcut, so it's all good, Tori. It's all good. But at Kentucky State University, what a feeding ground for just being exposed to great musicians and a great society and education, and being a part of the marching band and the jazz ensemble and all those great things. But after forming another sort of now we're a college band, I formed my first band to do original music, which was called Sunchild. And that was with myself, my brother Vincent, and also my brother Greg, who Greg's an MBA in finance, and he really represents the business side of this show. So we're going to get him on the show as well. But Sunchild came to a demise after about 2 summers of being a summer band. At that point, I said, I want to put together the greatest band in the world. I'm tired of this, having a band for the summer and then going back to school and starting over every time and turn around. I need to find some cats that are committed, that really want to go for it, and that are not afraid to take a chance. And that was the point that I formed Midnight Star. First going to my dear friend Bill Simmons, who had played in Sunchild with me, and we also played together in Funkified, and just a really great cat to have as a VP and a sideman, and in terms of a partner. And all that we were doing from that point, we quickly added Jeff Cooper, Kenneth Gant, Belinda Lipscomb, Bo Watson, Melvin Gentry, and I want to leave out anybody. Vincent joined the group just a little bit later after that as we began to do our first demos, but it was definitely a time when you could say that everyone wanted to make it. I mean, if it meant leaving school, if it meant drawing a line in the sand, and we did exactly that. We all left school to go and showcase in Palisades, New Jersey, which was one of the contacts that I had formerly from the Sunchild days, and that particular showcase led to the infamous Ron Mosley and Richard Aaron seeing Midnight Star. Our guest is laughing because our history is so connected. And they introduced us to Dick Griffey of Solar Records, and through that acquaintance, Dick came to see us in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we locked out a nightclub in the middle of the daytime. No one in the nightclub but us and Dick Griffey. No audience, no nothing. Costumes, everything. And, we put on the show of a lifetime. And Dick says, I kind of like you guys, but he said, you know what, Reggie, there's a note missing. There's a harmony missing somewhere, And we looked at each other like, the heck is this businessman talking about a harmony missing? But we knew the secret. Bill Simmons, my best friend there, guy, had a collapsed lung and was not able to perform with us. So there was truly a note missing in the horn section and in the vocal harmony because Bill was not able to perform, and we didn't want to use it as an excuse. We didn't want to say, "Oh, Mr. Griffey, we don't have everybody here today, so please bear with us." We just did the show, but his ear was so sharp. He said, "I like you guys. I want to see you one more time." So, maybe a month later, we were on tour. We had the pleasure of being on an Air Force tour that took us around the country twice, and in every Air Force base in the United States, except for Hawaii and Alaska. So Dick came to Las Vegas. Very ironic that he would come to Las Vegas, and he brought Carolyn with him. Carolyn Griffey's daughter. She was about 3 or 4 or 5 years old or whatnot. She was a little kid, and they came, and we performed for the airmen, and it was packed. And we killed the house, turned it out, and and Dick says, I think I want to sign you guys to my little label. And they say the rest is history, but there's a whole lot of history after that because we had to go 3 or 4 albums before we got a hit record. And we want to thank Mr. Griffey for hanging. I call him Mr. Griffey now. We always called him Dick then. but Mr. Griffey hooked us up and stayed with us. He didn't drop us after 2 or 3 albums or one album like it happened very easily in today's market. So he hung with us. It's never anybody's fault a lot of times, with a lot of different distribution companies, and the timing has to be right. And we'll talk with our guest today about what it takes to get a hit record, how involved that is. It's not just how good you are. There's a lot of behind the scenes that goes on to make that happen. So I want to finish telling you some of these stories, but our time moves really quickly. I thought I could get it all done in one show or 2 shows, but it'll take a lifetime. But we'll be here every week, so you guys get to check us out every week right here at LA Talk Live, 2 p.m. every Thursday. So let's get ready for, we have a break first or the news first?
We can do either one.
Which one comes first? Tori, I'm relying upon you.
Well, yeah, you had a little bit more time to talk about yourself, but if you're done, I can do my section.
I can talk about myself forever, but I want to talk about the news. Let's talk about some other people.
Okay.
Let's talk about the news.
All right. So we mentioned a little bit about Allen Iverson. A lot of you still remember Allen Iverson. He reached his peak in 2008, NBA All-Star. Went for Player of the Year, 11-time All-Star, League Rookie of the Year. However, things have changed a lot for him. He was found outside an Atlanta shopping mall.
I said to cut that. You didn't cut that. So
okay, all right.
Give me the short version.
All right. The short version is Allen Iverson is having some trouble with money, and the show is all about money and music. So you go from $200 million to struggling. So it shows you something. Now he has an endorsement deal with Reebok that he is able to get that trust fund in 2030. But that's about 16 years he has till he can get that. So we talk here on Music and Money with Reggie Calloway. We talk about how to use your money wisely when you have it. So,
are we going to talk about that for sure?
Yes. So Allen Iverson is definitely a lesson in that.
We want to wish him well and get his things and life together and make all that happen. In fact, we have some plans to be able to help not only Allen but lots of people out there. So Royalty Exchange may step in and see what we can do. What else you got to it?
Well, the NFL may be doing a little bit better. So the Super Bowl is an undoubtedly great exposure for anyone who plays it. That Beyonce, Bruno Mars last year, but now NFL is suggesting pay to play. If you want to play in the Super Bowl, you pay for it.
Pay to play? What's
Yep. It's no longer part of small little bars for small little musicians. Rihanna, Katy Perry, and Coldplay, which are the top selections for halftime show, are being asked to pay to play for the Super Bowl this year.
Oh.
So we'll see if that actually happens. I mean, it brings exposure for the artist who does it. Bruno Mars announced his tour after last year's halftime, helped draw more attention to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which we haven't seen in a while. But we'll see. We'll see how the general industry feels about paying for their time on the Super Bowl.
Oh my God. It happens, a lot of the nightclubs, even in LA. If you're a young aspiring act, they want you to come in and actually pay to play at the venue. And I can understand it. It makes sense from a standpoint, but I certainly miss the days when you can actually go and perform, and there's lots of nightclubs to perform at. I made my first $15 performing in a nightclub, and I thought that was the greatest thing in the world. And that kind of let me know that this is what I want to do. But now they want me to pay to play. Okay, we're gonna talk with Michael Gardner about that a little bit later. Let's take a little break right now and get into some music and kind of hang out. This particular song that Shakim has dialed up for you can find this on iTunes. It's from my solo album that we'll be talking about a little bit later in the different shows to come. It's called "Bring Back the Love."
Somehow this can't go on.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Xavier Tees and Tots, groundbreaking fashion, forward street smart designs. Tees and Tots for men, women, and boys. Visit XavierUSA.com. Once again, that's XavierUSA.com. Hubert's Lemonade, tasty, refreshing, sweet, and tart. Happiness in a bottle. Visit Hubert's Lemonade at Hubert'sLemonade.com. Once again, that's Hubert'sLemonade.com. Happiness in a bottle.
You know how it goes. Welcome back. Welcome back to Money and Music with Reggie Calloway. I'm your host, and we're happy to have you here as always, spreading some great stories. Earlier, you heard the song "Bring Back the Love." You can find that on iTunes. "Bring Back the Love." Look out for that one. Right now is time for our Royalty Exchange moment. Royalty Exchange was founded in 2011. Myself and my partner Sean Peace and Wilson Owens, and we wanted to solve a problem of how to bring funding to people that had royalty streams but could not get access to them. So we have the first online worldwide secure auction place for bringing buyers and sellers of royalty streams together. So this is a very, very unique special package, and we'll talk more about it. I don't want to get right into a lot of it right now, but let's just say that you're out there, you're receiving royalties, you go to your PRO and ask for an advance, and they say no, because they don't do that anymore, or your bank is not dealing with you, but you have money that's in the pipeline, but you can't touch it. We're there to help you and make that happen for you. We've crossed some incredible new barriers of having the first multi-unit auction, which puts us in a position where you could have 1,000 buyers buying one piece of a stream, so they can get involved in it in a very inexpensive manner, but yet be part of owning some of the greatest song catalogs, or oil, solar energy, patents, pharmaceuticals. Anywhere there's a royalty stream, we can help you monetize that, and that makes it for a very, very special new day and a new part of my life that I'm just so excited about, because having a great musical career is awesome, but now we want to teach and train and expose and help people finance their dreams. So we're really financing dreams out there. And then speaking of dreams, this whole idea of money and music, the idea of being in the entertainment side, or whether it's sports or entertainment or anywhere that's in the public eye, it becomes a great dream, or even a passion, just like politics might become a passion. And today's guest is a person who helps to assist and engineer, so many of those type of dreams. This young man who we go back just a few years to the beginnings of my career in terms of a recording artist, and all the way up through now. But he's managed groups that were on the Solar label right beside me, and I'm talking about the Whispers that you're hearing in the background right now. I'm talking about Shalimar and Howard Hewitt, but the list goes on with After Seven, Ted Mills, Blue Magic, currently Keith Washington. I won't give us all the titles right now because we're going to dig into them and just kind of pull some of the life stories out, but we're talking about Tina Marie, Andy Gibb, Karen Carpenter, some names that just really, really blow my mind. So if you would, let's say hello to Michael Gardner, manager, entertainment specialist.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, Michael, I tell you, Michael and I talked about, what questions we might ask. Well, I'm going to ask him the hard questions and the easy questions, because we just get to go through and just and share all this. But Michael, as I mentioned, a few of the acts that you have worked with, the ones that kind of take up most of your day right now. I know it's still all of them, but just give us just a little synopsis, if you would, just of a few of those acts and maybe some of their accolades that go along with that.
Well, I mean, my job really is a coordination job between agents, between buyers, between the artists, between all the different things that make your business model work. And there are a lot of different areas. Most people don't really think about it, but an act is a business, and it has to be run on two levels. It has to be run on the artistic side for the artist, and it has to be run on the business side for the other parts of our business. I mean, I sometimes have lectured at colleges, and I kind of start my lecture by looking out at the audience, and I see a lot of young eyes and bright faces and people looking at me, and I'm looking at them, and I say, well, let me ask you guys a question. How many words is show business? And I get some blank stares and some people looking around at each other, and I say, well, let me ask you again the word. How many words is show business? And at that point, some hands will go up, and they'll say, oh, well, it's 2 words. Then I say, okay, well, which is the longest of the 2 words?
You quantify that really quickly.
Amazingly fast. There's always people that can sing. There's always people that can dance. There's always people that can act. But that is only one part of the equation. If you don't have somebody on the other side of the desk that represents your business model, that represents a way to keep it going, that represents once it's going to keep it monetized, and once you're doing that, all the different things that have to come in, and you think you can do both at the same time, well, then one of those two things is going to fail. Mm-hmm. You have to have a team of people around you so that you can do what you're supposed to do, and that's make a song, learn a dialogue, learn how to tap dance, and do that better than any human being in the world. Mm-hmm. And not worry about the airplane tickets and the buses and the agents and the contracts and all that other stuff. There's not enough time in your day to do that. There's also the feeling with some artists, well, I don't want to pay anybody to do it. Okay, then don't. And you won't be around too long.
You won't be around too long.
Because you can't do them both. So show business is a combination of 2 arts. Show, which is what you're supposed to do, and business, which is what I'm supposed to do.
Exactly.
So if these things work together and you're in harmony with that, you should be able to go a long way. A quick story about that. 1,000 years ago, it seems. Now, I've been managing the Whispers now for close to 30 years. And it all started when Norby Walters sent 2 acts to meet with me. Norby sent the Whispers, and Norby sent Tina Marie at the same time to have a meeting with me to come in to have them talk to me about management. The Whispers came in, and they sat down, and we started to talk, and I said, look, guys, I want to be really honest with you. I don't know one thing about urban music. I was managing Cheryl Ladd. She was on Charlie's Angels. I was managing Raquel Welch. I had a lot of artists, Karen Carpenter, Andy Gibb. I said, but guys, I know a lot about business. So here's my deal. If you'll teach me about urban music, I'll teach you about business. And if we can put those 2 things together, we should be able to go a long way. Awesome. And that was 30 years ago.
Now, that brings up an interesting point. Just to get something out of the way, when we talked about, I asked Michael, said, what does a manager do? And people really want to know that question, and we're going to break it down in terms of the business side and the technical side. Mm-hmm. But you jokingly said, that a manager can be the psychiatrist, the psychologist. He has to be there to hold the pieces together. Can you just touch on just that overall stroke that goes down?
I think that there's 2 types of managers. I think there's the manager that thinks the word manager is the word next to God. And I think there's the manager that wants to be part of the overall experience, that wants to be part of what the act's all about, wants to be part of what all the buyers' problems are, wants to be part of every part and kind of make it work for everybody so that everybody's happy. I think a manager's job is a cross between psychologist, a cross between sometimes a babysitter, a confidant, a business expert, and a lot of other things all mixed into one. Mm-hmm. The word manager is not all-encompassing. That doesn't mean that you are better than anybody. That doesn't mean that you are worse than anybody. What it means, you are part of a group. Mm-hmm. You're the one that as the end of the chain that's going to say to this group or this person, yes, I think we should, no, I think we shouldn't, and discuss the reason why I think we should and discuss why we shouldn't.
For the entertainment value of this, I just want to touch on 1 or 2 examples of the babysitter side. What have been some of your experiences of where you just had to kind of guide and hold a hand to get a person to do what they normally should do? Because if you need a babysitter all the time, then you're not going to be a good partner or client. So
I don't the word, we're not, let's take the word babysitter away. Let's just say that you are on call 24/7 for any kind of problem that happens to come up for any act at any part of the day. I remember one time I was in bed and the phone rang at 4 o'clock in the morning and my wife got mad at me. And she said, well, what are you answering the phone about? Well, the bus broke down. Well, why are you doing that? Well, that's my job. I said, but let me ask you something, honey. If at 4 o'clock in the morning and I was a heart surgeon and the hospital called me because somebody needed emergency heart surgery, you wouldn't even ask me about that.
Right.
You'd say, get up and go save them. Well, I had to save this act. The bus broke down in Omaha. It's the same thing.
That is a really big story, because as artists and in the entertainment business, people tend to think that our jobs aren't serious. You know, like if you're a songwriter, you got to go and write. If you don't write that song, it never gets out. But if you're writing at 4 in the morning, and that's what it takes, that's why it's like you say, you could be the janitor at 4 in the morning, which is very, very important, or you could be the surgeon.
Show business for all of us does not have a closed sign.
Yes.
It's always got an open sign.
Yeah, you got to capture the moments, and you got to be there to make it happen and hold the pieces together. Yeah. If the pieces fall apart, the whole train falls apart.
Exactly. That's
now,
totally correct.
So one of the overall management positions is to be this balancing act between the lawyer, the record label, the booking agent, the PR firm, all those different entities. So you touch all of those. Am I correct?
Again, I'm the end of the line for all of that stuff. And I think one of the most important factors with everybody you just mentioned is to respect what they're trying to accomplish and make it work for you. Don't make what you think you want and make them think if it's not the way you want it, it ain't going to happen. They have a side, they have a story, they have history, and so do you. So take what they bring to the table, bring what you bring to the table, and make it work for everybody. Don't try to bogart it and say, well, if it can't be the way that I want it to be, we ain't going to do it. Well, nothing got accomplished then. There's got to be a way that what you want and what we want in the middle, there's some ground that we can make it work for both of us. I always tell the act when we're making deals with promoters, I want every promoter to make money on the deal. I don't want to kill them with the deal that I'm making for you, because if they don't make any money, you ain't coming back. But the one thing that we know about show business is the word greed.
Exactly.
Greed is all over it. So if the guy that I just gave the act to made money, he will be greedy enough to bring me back the next time.
Yeah. Let's just give our audience a little education right there in terms of, for a promoter to make money, he's dealing with all those expenses. And you as a manager, you are cognizant of them and you're empathetic with all those expenses. So when a guy's doing a big concert, what's he faced with? He's got to make his money how, and when he spends it well.
Well, to be honest with you, if you look at a building, I always tell the act, if you're on stage and the theater has a balcony, and if you can see that the balcony has nobody in it, you didn't make any money for the promoter.
so forget all the details. Yeah. It's very simple.
Okay, the floor looked good, but the balcony is where his profit was, and there was nobody up there. So there's a very small margin in today's world for promoters to make money.
Yes. So we're talking, the venue costs, the advertising costs.
Well, here's what you got. You've got the artist, you've got their production, you've got advertising, you've got the building cost, you've got the staffing. You've got all that goes into the deal. It's not just what the artist is charging, it's everything else on a piece of paper.
Yeah. Now, so James Brown in his movie, James said, well, the promoter's making all the money, so I think I'll start promoting the concerts myself, and then I'll pay the promoter.
You know what? That's really good. And when I was in law school, my contracts professor told me something. He said, I want to tell you guys a story about Mr. Smith, who came into court one day, and the judge looked down at Mr. Smith and said, well, Mr. Smith, who's here representing you? Mr. Smith said I said to the judge, I'm representing myself. The judge looked down at him and said, well, one of you is stupid then. Okay, so that's the whole James Brown thing. Why don't you just be the artist and let somebody else be the promoter? Once again, when you try to be the promoter and the artist, wow, one of you isn't going to come out happy.
Somebody's going to miss a step.
Something's going to happen in there, and who do you blame? Nobody. You got to blame yourself.
Yeah. I think it worked out for a little while for him, but you can never get to the big picture when you're micromanaging everybody else's
There's
job.
Not enough time. You have James Brown, using him as that example, had one job. Make music, get on stage, and make people love you.
Right.
You are not supposed to worry about the catering and the staffing in a building, period.
Ooh. So we kind of talked about the promoters and those guys, and of course the booking agencies are the ones that are trying to get you to those promoters and get you on those concerts. And of course their job is to know everybody that's booking in every room that's out there. So we kind of got that. So we're talking about record labels now. So managers dealing with the record label, what has changed from back in our great glory days to how that's done now.
I don't think there are any record labels.
So it's come to that particular.
Just like there are no record stores.
Yes, like where are they?
We used to be able to go in and go through a stack of records and pick out what you want and go to the counter, and you don't even get to do that anymore.
So let's take the Whispers. They're the grandfathers of, not in age, but in terms of the experience of 30 years of you being with them, and those guys starting out as teenagers and coming to the adulthood of their careers. Within this new market of no record companies, no stores, what do those guys do?
Well, look, the Whispers will record again. It'll be at the right time, the right place, the right company. But luckily for the Whispers, as you know, and for a lot of acts, their history is built on a franchise now of music that they've already done. So when they go into a concert, they have so many songs to rely back on that the people want to hear. It's almost a negative that you come into that show with new songs because they want to hear In the Mood. They want to hear Scotty. They want to hear Olivia. They want to hear that's what they came to hear.
Yeah, and they have built that franchise impeccably with great shows.
Old School is built on what you did to get you there, not necessarily what's going to happen going forward. I'm not saying that everybody. Yes, people need records if they want them, and maybe there's the comet that'll come off the record, but you're there because of what you built to get there, and you're still there because of those people that supported you all the way through to that specific second in time. They're there because of that.
And when you have that audience captured there at that arena, then you're able to sell product.
We
right
do. We
then.
sell product. We sell normal concert material, and we do sell some albums that we own. Yes, that's pretty normal.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That is the only record stores that are open as the ones when you
basically.
That's kind of like the traveling salesman.
Yeah.
You bring your goods to the town.
Yeah, you see that table at the end? That's our record store. Just go down there and pay the lady, and you get a record.
You get everything you need.
Yeah, that's it.
Then and that's of course the whole group size, and then you have Howard Hewitt and Shalimar, and that whole two separate acts, but one big family. And I know the guys Shalimar's doing a lot of things overseas. We don't see them in America, but the guys are there.
Shalimar overseas is Jeffrey, Howard, and Carolyn Griffey. We're going back there in December again for the 6th year to headline at the Indigo O2 Arena. And we go there every year, and it's been a great sellout for us. We've done some dates here in America, but really the market for Shalimar for the moment is overseas.
Awesome. And then Howard, of course, does a lot of things in America.
Howard works all the time.
All the time.
That guy he's a trooper. He just gets out and works. He's working all the time. Thank you. I love that.
And he has a new single coming out. So Howard's got a new single coming.
Yes.
Can we sneak a talk about that?
Well, when Howard comes in, let him talk about it.
Okay, so we'll save that for Howard. We'll definitely have Howard come by, but. In the management area, you have to keep all those things popping. Each act has a different set of needs or experiences or ways to get to their audience.
Yeah, and listen, the Whispers are 17 people on the road. That's like that's a lot of bodies that you have to move around. And in today's world, the cost of that is becoming tremendous.
Yes.
Just moving this group from west to east, airfare base is about $8,000. Just going from LA to do a date in New York. So the costs that are surrounding everything are squeezing all of us.
If you just joined us, we're talking with Michael Gardner, manager of groups like the Whispers, After 7, Howard Hewitt. He's also managed Tina Marie, Andy Gibb, and Karen Carpenter from times in the past, and we're just kind of going through a lot of the industry stuff and figuring out where the money is and where the music is and how it all comes together. Tina Marie, someone that we just miss dearly. I had the pleasure of being at her concert, and she gave me a T-shirt personally, and I thought greatly of it then. Right. But when she passed, then I was like, wow, I got this T-shirt hanging out on the bus with Tina, and she actually just gave it to me, so I had it, and those things. What's it like to have seen artists come and go in your life?
I've had 3: Karen Carpenter, Andy Gibb, and Tina. I mean, it's always there's no real way to discuss it when it happens. I mean, Tina died right at Christmas, and we saw some of the signs. We saw that she was having some problems, but the finality of it you just can't deal with the finality of it. It's almost like, no, it was a bad dream. You try to wake up from it, you can't. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, it's still very raw, and that's a person we all miss. This was a very, very hard-working woman. I don't know. It's hard even to talk about Tina.
Yeah, and the show I saw was amazing. I mean, we don't get older. We just get better if we stick to our guns. If you don't take care of yourself, then you have those problems and some things you can't prevent. But that show her talent was everlasting.
There are a lot of things around artists that are tempting. There's a lot of things around artists that they have to be real careful with. The ones that are still standing, the ones that are still out there working, some of them or most of them have gotten through that.
Yes.
Some have struggled to get through it, but they've gotten through it.
As we talked earlier about Allen Iverson and that particular type of problem that we all face from time to time from artists, from athletes, and the whole thing. Is there a caution that can be said?
I look at Iverson in a kind of a outside way, but I've seen it so many times in my career. Ego. I know better than you. I've got a lot of money. I know what to do with it. I don't need your advice. I don't have to worry about taxes, and I don't have to worry about the government. So I'll do what I want to do. And then one day you wake up and there's nothing to do. You went through it all. No one could talk to you. No one could save you. No one could guide you. No one could say, you have $100. You go spend 50 of it and let's put 50 in the bank. No, I want the 100. There'll be another 100. The attitude is that there's always going to be the next 100. And when the next 100 doesn't happen, you start eating up what you thought you were going to have for later, and it's gone. It's gone. There are two things that are never going to change in this business. A, there's going to be Uncle Sam. Okay? B, there are people that are going to give you advice. If you don't want to listen to the people that give you advice, you are going to be listening to Uncle Sam. Okay? Because he don't go away. All your advisors you can fire. This guy over here with the little striped suit with the beard, he can't be fired. He will get you some way, sometime.
And he can come and take it when he wants to, how he wants to.
In a flash.
They brought down gangsters. They couldn't get them for the criminal crime.
In a flash.
They got them for some other things. But that's, when I talk about this show, Money and Music, that's really the passion behind it. People look at ratings and they look at how can they be the most, doing dog tricks or, funny stories or whatnot. We don't really care about that here. We really care passionately about educating and cautioning and bringing to light, some things we can do to make changes. And some of those changes are truly psychological, because you say if you want to be the Mr. in control, then you may be controlling nothing.
Correct.
So we want to touch on that.
That's a very good thing. You'll be controlling nothing.
We're going to come back with Michael Gardner and talk a little bit more. We're going to slip off to a break right here, right now, and get you all a nice glass of lemonade or whatever it is you're having on your travels, on your drives. We'll see you in just a few seconds. Money and Music with Reggie Calloway. Hang tight.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
I know you come a long way, baby. baby. my mistakes, yes I did, girl. The more I tried to hide my feelings, baby, this old heart gets in the way, and love won't let me wait. Second time around, girl, with me is better than the first time. Second time around, let's do it one more time. Say it again. Second time around, all that I've been through, I'll do it again, just as long as I'm with you. Second time around, the second time.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
It started out like a totally normal day.
I love you.
I mean, I guess I was a little sweaty and I was definitely sore. I thought I had gas. Turns out I was having a heart attack. Heart disease is the #1 killer of American women. So now I take care of myself and tell the other women in my life to do the same. Make it your mission to save your life and the lives of the women you love. Find out more from the American Heart Association at goredforwomen.org.
Hey y'all, I'm Shaquem Williams, and I'm the host of The Shock Factor here on LA Talk. We broadcast to the world every Friday at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Live music, live performances. We're just live. Chef Momo, Erica Ash, and once again, your host, Shaquem Williams. So come join every Friday here at LA Talk Live, the world-leading broadcasting internet radio station. The Shock.
Welcome back to Money and Music. We're sitting here chatting with Michael Gardner, manager extraordinaire. Lots of groups that you've heard of. This part of the show, just want to reflect for a minute as we look at the psychology of money, and we're talking about how, a person could have all the money in the world and then one day it's all gone because of the mismanagement that occurs because of what's going on in the mind a lot of times. I encourage you to, seek good counsel with your money, with your finances, and do listen to it. Don't go to a heart doctor to ask about brain surgery. Don't go to the barber to ask about your finances. Get the right advice. It is so important. I've made my mistakes. I had great advice and still didn't listen to the good advice. I listened to the emotional advice sometimes, and that emotional advice can come from various places, and some of those places are kind of dark places. I was talking to Tori earlier, and she says, "Reggie, what are you going to talk about today?" I said, "I want to talk about when you walk into a restaurant, you don't want to feel self-conscious. In other words, the people who have grown up without very much sometimes will not have been exposed. They go into a restaurant, look around and say, everybody's looking at me. I think I want to get out here. This place is too expensive. And it puts into your mind this whole negative outlook of who you really are. And I want you to all know that you're all truly blessed. You all truly have a divine spirit in you, and you're all destined to have wealth. But you must manage that wealth because it's already in you. We tend to give it away every day in our time, in our associations, and the things we do. So manage your life, manage your wealth, manage your associations, and keep some pride in your heart. And you may not have everything you need right now or everything you want right now, but if you work hard, study, take good advice, find the career that meets your goals, that when you go to work, it's not like going to work because you just love it and you do it every day, and you're bound to receive the riches. And once you get those riches, manage them. Do not let them run away from you because they have wings and will take off if you don't hold tight and do the right money management. That's what we're talking about today with money and music, as we get into all these different subjects and we just touch on different parts of lives and bring it all together. I want to thank Michael Gardner for coming out and sharing. And we have a another news report, which will lead us into some closing statements. And so, Tori Taranova, what do you have for us at this particular moment?
Well, we've been talking about how the popularity of older music and how it's still living. Well, that's not only showing up in concerts, it's also showing up on the charts. The top-selling albums this week may not be what you think. First, we have the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, which mostly hits from the 60s and 70s at number 1. Number 2 is the Now 51 with tracks from the 2013. I don't know how many nows is there going to be. And third is the soundtrack from Frozen, which apparently is never going to die.
Never.
So that's proving that the strength of older music. Now Taylor Swift has a new single that's coming out. That's been getting some attention. She has a video that she's parroting Lady Gaga and some rap stars, Beyonce, Gwen Stefani. It's actually not a bad song. And then Nicki Minaj's Anaconda is coming out. But we'll see if it can reach the level of attention that this older music seems to just be prevailing everywhere. It's just not going away.
Let me just jump in there because we were talking about older music, Michael, with the classic artists that you're working with and the new models that allows this to happen, the compilations and the whole different things, but that definitely takes marketing and promotion and distribution to get it out to the world. Marketing and promotion being the biggest costly factor of that. That's the killer. That's the one that everybody's always lacking is that money to invest.
Well, it used to be in the old days, and you lived through this, that, in the old days when we were, let's say 20 years ago, you got a $400,000 advance from the record company. You deliver the record, and you still got the record release party with the shrimp. Okay. Nowadays, you don't get any advance. They want to use the money for marketing and bring your own shrimp.
Whoa.
So, it's just the whole cycle has completely gone a 360. It's just completely different than when you and I started in this business.
Yes.
When record companies were finding you, paying you, and it was great. That's gone, and you have to now figure out a way to work within the new model.
Yeah, the internet has changed the world from a lot of aspects, and we thought it was going to be the savior, but it's not the answer totally, because especially when it comes to a lot of the adult acts and the adult audience, they're still a little bit behind being tuned in to the fanatical end that kids can go after it.
Well, first of all, I'm still using Post-its.
Okay.
So let's start from old is old.
They got a Post-its on your computer too. You know
that. I put the Post-its right on the computer when I really want to remember something versus sticking the. Yes, the older generation is it's taking us time to catch up with what is happening in technology.
Right.
The problem is the technology changes every 20 seconds. So just when you get to something that you think you understand, bam, it's gone some other way.
Now Tori said she said if your email address is still in. I'm not gonna give them a commercial. There's certain emails that are old, so if your address is at that email, the kids think you're being funny.
I'm not gonna say the one either.
Me either. We're giving out no free advertising. We already got it. We got to tax shock him already for doing a commercial.
My son who's in the real estate business in Malibu. When I gave him my email address the other day, he says, "You're using that? Nobody uses that one anymore." I said, "What are you talking about? It's an address." No, you got to use blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I thought.
I said, look,
it cracked me up too.
None of the real estate guys use that one anymore. I said, okay, great. I wouldn't even have thought of that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of being behind, we always think of maybe like Japan and the U.S., we're all up to date. We have our streaming services, but we don't think about sometimes as other countries are behind. Take Russia. Russia now, they have their social media service called Kontaktki, which is the Facebook of Russia. And Russia is actually the number one source of piracy in the world. It's beating China right now.
Whoa.
And they don't have streaming music like we have here in the U.S. There's no Spotify.
They just have bullets.
Oh,
That's the way they
goodness.
stream it.
Well, they're hoping because, streaming is actually helping piracy go down a little bit in the U.S. Yeah. It's not helping that much financially. But there's a new streaming service. It's called Zvuk. And it bills itself as the music ecosystem designed for emerging markets, specifically because people in Russia and these Asian countries, they're used to sacrificing pretty terrible quality audio and video in order to get it free. But this new social media streaming network is hoping to solve that. So piracy is not so much an issue, and all the labels and managers like yourself aren't having to fight Vladimir Putin so much.
Oh,
There's so many layers of how to make that operate for yourself. Like I said, just as when you think you understand one layer of it, bam, there's 20 more layers that came in, and you got to catch up on that. So it's an ongoing, growing thing, and it's just going to keep getting more complicated. And we'll have to hire more lawyers, and that's the way the business is.
Hey, Michael, I want to give out a call line. We got a few more minutes, and we may get one of our guests from around the world to check in with us. 323-473-3100. 323-473-3100. If you want to call in with a quick question, we'd like to talk to you. But as we get ready to close out, Michael, could you tell us a little bit about some of the future projects that are going on right now that are coming up along the line? If you can share anything that you're working on or that any of the acts are working on that you want to share with the audience?
Yes, just keep all of them healthy.
Oh, yeah.
We have some surprises coming that I can't discuss just yet. But
Okay.
Yes, the Whispers are embarking on some very, very important stuff that you will hear about very quickly. Howard has the new record out. Shalimar's on the way to Europe to headline the concerts, as I told you before. But the most important thing is that we're still working. We're still out there performing. The audiences are great, and that's a blessing in itself.
Yes, I caught the Whispers on Unsung, and we did the Midnight Star Unsung, which was a lot of fun. But to see their story, because they came before us, and we can see where we fit into where we were at, the day that certain music came out, and you said they took your stuff and put it on the cutting room floor. I mean, what did you say back there, Michael?
I have no idea what I said. I didn't make the cut.
You didn't make the cut?
No, but you know what? It wasn't my story.
Oh,
it was
no,
their
yeah,
story, and
yeah.
I was very happy. I did my bit. They interviewed me, and they didn't need it, so that's fine.
Well, they used it in terms of how they cut the story together. I'm sure in the back of their mind they were hearing some of your chronological aspects of it and some of the messages that rang through. They just didn't like your face.
That no doubt. I mean, you're right. I understand all that.
But when I did the climax story, and they asked me a story about meeting in the ladies' room, and so I answered it. But when the show came on, they asked me the question, but they let Bernadette answer it. Her story was a much more colorful version than mine was. I said, this is just the facts, but Bernadette added the flair to it, the flavor. Plus, it was her story. They're the stars, and the way they see it is the way it is. The way you see it is the way it is.
Listen, it's their story. Let them have all the time to talk about it.
Yes, indeed. We had anybody, once again, 323-473-3100. If you don't catch us today, remember that we're streaming live right now, and also you can come back and check us out on latalklive.com. You can also pick us up on Ustream and YouTube. Check out Money and Music with Reggie Calloway. We have so much to tell you and so many different little things to bring to light. As we say, we're going to do a whole show about streaming and what that means and how the artists are not getting a great shake out of that. And we're going to figure out where the money is going, who's actually making this money. And we are doing some undercover research. But just to know the facts of what's going on is enlightening. That way you can begin to make some changes. So this has been an awesome time, and I want to close out with some great music and have some more fun for you. We're going to see you next week, every Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Tune in, get yourself some knowledge, get filled up, get full, and get motivated. Once you get motivated, it's your world. You can do whatever you want to do. The riches are out there for you.
Just put some of it away for later.
Put some of it away for later. Do not live beyond your means. It just won't work.
And Mike, where can they reach you if audience members are interested in reaching out to you?
Well, I can give them my email address if they want it. It's Michael, Michael, Gardner, GARDNERM at AOL.com. Feel free to ask a question. I'll be more than happy to answer it.
And that M is for money.
That M is for money.
Michael Gardner.
Michael Gardner Money.
M.
M it, baby. M.
Yeah, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. Thank you much, guys.
Thank
you. And when Midnight Star got signed and we came to LA, of course we could see the Whispers, and as watching Unsung, some of the songs I didn't even know were Whisper songs, because I was so young in terms of where I was in my musical life. But I was just so blown away to have that history. And then with Shalimar, the very first song that Dick Griffey came in the studios and played for us, he says, "Reggie, I want you guys to hear this song. Tell me what you think about it." And we were just recording our very first album, and that was the second time around. And I heard that song and I was amazed and blown away. I was like, oh, wow, I want a hit like that. We see you guys next week. Shakim, take me home.
For a little love, peace, and happiness. Everywhere rich.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.